Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Jessie, and welcome back to another episode of Rewire to Inspire. This show where we'll dive into self-love, learn tangible ways to rewire the brain, and discovering your soul's purpose. The goal of Rewire to Inspire is to encourage listeners to begin doing the hard work, to get curious and open to maximizing your life. Our mindset shapes how we live. Depending on life events, traumas, and personal experiences, our mindsets are all vastly different. However, one thing we all have in common is the ability to rewire our mind, to change the narrative, and to pivot our lives. I hope you leave each episode with the belief that you are so worthy to live a life true to you. I look forward to chatting with you every single Tuesday and Thursday and helping you grow exponentially in all areas of your life. Without further ado, here's today's episode. Hello, you guys, and welcome back to my podcast, Rewire to Inspire. I am your host, Jessie Brown, and I am thrilled to be jumping on the microphone with you all for episode number 84. I am feeling just so excited to be chatting with you all. I hope you're all having a wonderful December. I hope you're in the holiday spirit. We finally got our first snow down of the year a couple days ago, which is so much more beautiful to look out the window and see snow and white trees instead of mud and grass in the middle of December. I am definitely used to having a white Christmas, so fingers crossed for that. But nonetheless, I am so excited. I hope you're all doing so well, having a terrific month, enjoying some time, maybe cuddled up with your family, maybe looking at the Christmas lights outside, doing yearly traditions. Whatever it is, I hope through that you are prioritizing yourself, your mental health, working towards your dreams, working towards your goals, and just feeling really empowered and inspired. And I just hope you're all doing well. And I wish I could check in with each of you all individually and say hi. But because I can't, hello, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I am so excited to have you here. And if you are tuning back in, of course, so excited to have you here. Everybody is always welcome. And for today, I am very, very excited about today's episode because it's one that I am really hoping is self-empowering. And the reason that today's episode came up is because I've been struggling just a lot lately of finding happiness, and I'm having like pockets of my life that I'm feeling joy and fulfillment in, but I feel like across the board lately I'm just feeling very blah. And I don't know if I'm alone in this, if anybody else can relate to this. I'm not really sure directly where it's coming from. However, I knew that through me going through this uncomfortability and through this pain and uncertainty, there has to be a message that I can share through that. And really what had happened is one morning I woke up and I decided, enough's enough. I'm going to do at least everything in my control to try to change my life around. All the areas in which I feel like I'm letting myself down, no more of that. I'm going to prioritize my health, prioritize my mental health, prioritize my goals, prioritize my family, prioritize just myself. And I feel like for a long time, I was just trying to accomplish so much in the run of a day. And again, my accomplishments and my standards aren't going to lower. My approach is just going to change. And so the goal of today's episode is for you guys to understand the power of just saying, I'm starting now. We have the control at literally any moment in our lives to make pivots and to make shifts and to, stop old trains, start new ones, put in more momentum, let off the gas in certain areas. We have the control of that every single day. And I find that just so empowering to know that we are the ones that are in control of our lives, and we are the ones in control of how we want to show up. And I know that it can be super easy to fall off and to lose sight, to get comfortable, to forget why you started, etc., etc. But my goal is for you to bring some awareness to your life. And I kind of gathered a couple questions that I want to go through today. But I wanted to share my personal experience with this first because I'm someone who is very detail oriented, who loves to track their habits, who has very clear goals. I know what I'm going for. I know how I'm going to get it. And yet I'm feeling a sense of unaccomplishment, a sense of something missing in my life, something not being right in my life, and just feeling off. And even just by saying to my brain that one day, I'm starting now and I'm making shifts now, it just lit this fire within me to pivot areas of my life. Because if you're noticing yourself waking up every morning or going to bed every night and just feeling unfulfilled, there's something there. There's a reason for that. And I've yet to land exactly on what my reason is. And instead, I'm taking it in intersections of kind of focusing my energy on areas of my life that I have control over, which is myself, my higher self, my consciousness, my spirituality, my community, my mental health, and my health in general. So looking after and nourishing my body. And anything outside of that will slowly be a byproduct of how I'm feeling. But we have to get the foundation good first. We have to get the foundation solid first. And so I knew that my foundation was starting to crumble. I wasn't prioritizing my health really. I wasn't being as motivated as I thought I was in my mind. I wasn't showing up the way that maybe I felt like I was. And so although I don't have all the answers, I knew that even just by telling myself, I'm starting now and I'm making shifts now, there was a part of me that lit up for the first time in a long time. And so, again, I want you to ask yourself, what trains in your life do you want to stop? Meaning, which areas do you want to stop investing area or energy into? Which areas of your life do you want to speed up putting energy in? And which areas of your life do you feel like you need to pivot? Do you need to make changes? Do you feel like you're pouring too much energy into one area of your life and not enough into another, and that's leaving you feeling depleted? Do you feel like you're spending too much time working for somebody else that you're feeling like you're not able to accomplish your own goals? Do you feel like you're too catering to all those around you that you're allowing your own health and mental health to take a hit? At any point, you get to decide, what do I want to stop? What do I want to start? And what do I want to pivot? But so the first thing that I encourage you guys to ask yourself, which is what I ask myself, is ask yourself why you're falling off track. Ask yourself maybe where these feelings are coming from. And if nothing comes up right away, know that that's okay, because nothing came up for me either right away. And honestly, I'm still kind of working through that. But I knew that some reasons why I was falling off track is because I was just allowing the excuses in my mind to control me. I was allowing myself to be more lazy than I should have, and I wasn't working as hard as I know that I should. And so of course I'm going to feel a sense of unworthiness and unaccomplishedness if I'm not showing up in the way that I know that I can and that I should, and most importantly, that I want to. So why are you falling off track? What is it that's not working? What is it that's not in alignment? What is it that maybe needs to shift so that you can get yourself back on track? And again, that's going to look unique to everybody. The circumstance in which that follows through to is going to be unique to everybody. But maybe there's an area of your life that you just feel like isn't making you as happy as you thought it was, or isn't going the way you thought it was. What has caused you to fall off track? What is that thing that needs to get out of the way or needs to be tweaked in order for you to get back on and to continue forward? But we have to get the things out of the road in order to keep going. But if we don't acknowledge them, they will stay there and we will likely stay stuck. The next thing that I began to ask myself is, am I prioritizing what means most to me? And my answer to that was a flat out no, I wasn't. The things that I value, and I know the things that I value, I was not prioritizing. I was pushing them aside to cater to everybody else. Meanwhile, I was left feeling super icky and super off and really just unaccomplished and uninspired. And the reason for that is because I wasn't prioritizing the right things in my life. I wasn't prioritizing my goals. I wasn't prioritizing my daily non-negotiables. I wasn't prioritizing my business. I wasn't prioritizing my health. And so whenever that happens and we're not prioritizing it, our higher self knows that. And it knows that we're not living in alignment. And when we're not living in alignment, that's very evident proof in front of us of why we're not feeling right. Because when we're living in alignment and living in flow, we feel so good that those other questions don't even really come into our mind. But typically when we start to feel like we've fallen off the wagon or off the rails, is when we're not prioritizing the things that we know we need to do and that we want to do and that we should do. So I encourage you to ask yourself, are you prioritizing currently in your life the things that mean most to you? And again, the things that we need to prioritize aren't always the funnest, glorious things. It's often the things that we know we should be doing that we push aside, and we end up prioritizing things that we shouldn't, and then we end up feeling really crummy about it. So sometimes it's about having a hard conversation with ourselves of, maybe I've become too comfortable. Maybe I need to get a little more uncomfortable so I can actually end up feeling better, which is super, super interesting and something that we're not naturally wired in our mind to go to. We're wired to go to comfortability and to go the easy road out, but it's often through that hard work and through discipline that we end up actually feeling better and more fulfilled. So that's the second thing I want you to ask yourself. The next question is honestly a really powerful one, and it's, do you even know what means the most to you? Do you know what it is that you should be doing? Because it's really hard to prioritize things in our life if we don't even know what we should be doing. And so if you're at this point and you're like, okay, Jessie, I don't even know what I need to be prioritizing, that's a great time to just take a step back. Take a step back and get to know yourself. Get to know what it is that you want your life to look like. Because if you're just constantly prioritizing things and doing things just to do them, but they're not actually really giving you any real benefit to your life, you're honestly just wasting time. And so it's so important that you begin to ask yourself, what actually means most to me? What is it that I need to be spending my time doing? We're so good at just saying yes to everything, even when we don't want to. But there is such power in saying no and holding your ground and holding your boundaries and doing the things that you know you want to do. But it can be really hard if you don't know what those things are. So it's super, super important that you begin to ask yourself, do I know what means most to me? And am I prioritizing those things? The next thing, are you living a life that you're going to be proud of? This is a hard one to really wrap your head around, but in a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, are you going to look back at this version of you and be proud of it? Are you going to be proud of the things that you're doing, the things that you spent your time doing, the people that you were around, the activities that you did, the actions that you did? Or are you going to wish that you lived a little bit differently? And you'll instantly know as soon as I ask that question, the things in your life that you feel like you might not be proud of, but maybe some of the great things that you're doing that you will be proud of. But I encourage you to ask yourself, how much time am I spending doing the things that I don't think I'll really be proud of? So maybe it's drinking, maybe it's doing drugs, maybe it's around people that don't actually bring you true fulfillment. Maybe it's in a job you don't actually love, right? Maybe it's doing things that don't actually bring you joy. Is your future self going to look back and be proud that you stuck doing those things that you knew weren't in alignment and weren't best for you? We live in the now, or we literally live in the now. Our minds might go to the past or to the future, but our bodies are in the now. And so it can be really easy to do things now and not really think much of them. But what is your future self going to think of this time? That's something that I always like to ask myself, because I want my future self to be able to look back and know that I did everything in my control possible to live a life true to me and to set myself up for the most aligned life. And anytime I do something that I know isn't in alignment and I do it for long enough, I know that my future self in a way is going to be disappointed in that. And I want her to be proud and I want her to be happy. And yes, we do things sometimes that aren't totally in alignment and we might regret, but how often are you spending doing them? How much time are you wasting doing things that you're not even going to be proud of? And could you maybe spend a little less time doing those things and doing more things that are going to make your future self happy? And again, we like that pleasure in the moment. We like to have fun in the moment. We like to feel comfortable in the moment. That's why we put off going to the gym. We put off eating clean. We put off, doing hard things because we like to feel good and we like to feel good now. But I promise you, your future self is going to know that. It's going to remember that. And ask yourself even now, thinking backwards, are you proud of yourself a year ago? Are you proud of yourself 5 years ago? And if the answer is no, are you willing to duplicate that feeling for your future self and for your future thoughts? The next thing that I've been asking myself is, what's one area of your life that you can master? What is one thing that you can begin to master? I don't know about you, but I am so guilty of starting like 150 things at once, and I don't follow through really with any of them. Some of them I do, and I've gotten better at this because there's definitely some that are, my podcast, for example, is one that I've definitely tried to master. My position with Next Level University, definitely trying to master that. Things that I know that I want to be in my orbit, in my circle, in my life, in my reality forever. And so I want to master them. But I know that we're all guilty of doing this. We start so many different things, different projects. We have our head in a million different places. But what if you just began to master one of them and got really, really good at that one thing, and then allowed that to branch off into something else? Because the thing is when I first started this journey, it didn't start with being a podcaster. It started with all different things below it that have trickled into this. But that wouldn't have happened if I didn't focus my energy on becoming a social worker, and then becoming a counselor, and then working with clients and getting awareness and studying trauma to now be able to have this show. But that wouldn't have happened if I didn't lean my focus into one thing. So what in your life, what area of your life can you begin to master? What is something that you feel like you kind of keep half-assing, but you actually want to go all in on? It can feel so rewarding to do different things and to just switch things up. But what's one thing that you can do long enough and hold on to long enough that you're able to get really good at and actually see the compound and reward of that? We often do things just for little bits of time, and when we don't have a huge success or instant results, we give up. But what's something in your life that you can make a promise to yourself? And again, take time to think about this. You don't have to know right now in this moment, but that you can go all in on, and that you can get really good at, and you can get curious about, and you can begin to master and just hone that into your identity. When I woke up that morning and said, I'm starting now, I told myself areas of my life that I want to begin to have very strict non-negotiables in. One of them is my podcast, Next Level University, and my fitness and my health. I need to master those areas of my life in order for me to begin to feel whole, and I know that. What are those areas in your life that you want to master? Kind of the next point that I wrote down is that no one is going to better our lives for us. We have to be willing to do that for ourselves. And I did an episode a couple weeks ago about, comparing ourselves to other people. And then I had one last week about we can see everybody else's potential but our own. And we're so good at putting everybody else first. And I think we like to ricochet all good things that could potentially come our way off of us. And we often think we're not deserving, we're not worthy, we're not capable, we're not whatever, but we think everybody else around us is, which is also super interesting. And I know we all do this, but no one is going to better your life for you. Only you are able to put in the work and the actions to better your life. And I know that that can be a hard pill to swallow, but also one that we all need to realize. Our friend isn't going to be able to get our dream physique for us. Our friend isn't going to be able to start us that business that we really want to run. One of the biggest secrets to leading to success is to do something unique to you and that you love and that you aspire for and that you work towards. We often try so hard to follow in everybody else's footsteps because that is what's known and that's what's comfortable, and we don't want to be found out or vulnerable or anybody to know that we may have failed or anything like that. And so we try to keep ourselves small and follow everybody else. But beginning to realize that we are the only ones in control of our destiny and in control of our lives is actually just a very empowering thought. But it leaves you with the decision to decide what you want to do with that. Because even in knowing that, that means you get to decide what it is that you want to do. You have to decide the areas of your life that you're letting yourself down and make those shifts. You're the one that's going to have hard conversations with yourself and with others to put in boundaries, to begin to show up differently. And this was a really hard one for me to sit with of, nobody's going to magically come into my life and switch it around for me. Nobody's going to just instantly make my life as fulfilling and happy as possible. No. We each have to do the things to get there. And that comes from all avenues of our life. That comes through our job, that comes through our relationships, that comes through our environment, that comes through our experiences, that comes through our work, that comes through creativity. Everything around us orbits around that. But we're the ones that have control of what those things are. And so just knowing that nobody is going to come into your life and make that switch for you. And that is why I wanted this podcast to land from the frame of you are the one in control of saying, I'm putting my foot down now. I'm changing my life now. You can't pull other people to do the same things, which is what I'm realizing. You can't pull other people to better themselves, to work on themselves, to have goals, to go for things, to do the things. Only you have control of your life and to do those things. And you have to be willing to start them. But you also have to be willing to know that because we make those decisions and we're the ones in control of that for ourselves, if those around us choose not to do that, it can be really easy for us to fall off. But that's when I encourage you to ask yourself if those around you are most in alignment. Are they keeping you small? Do you feel like those around you are the reason in which you're staying stagnant? Because again, it's only us and it comes down to us. And if that is the case, it's our responsibility to remove those relationships from ourselves so we're able to better our lives. We will come up with so many excuses to find reasons of why we're not doing things, why we're not showing up a certain way, why we don't have certain results. But at the end of the day, my loves, it is up to us and it falls onto us, and we can't forget that. And the last thing that really bounces off of that is that our mindset and what we tell ourselves on a daily basis holds so much power. How we're talking to ourselves, how we view life, how we view ourselves, how we view our future, how we view our past, how we view the present, all of it simultaneously at one time, and all the things in between all matter so much. What are the go-to conversations you're having in your mind? What are the go-to excuses you're having in your mind? What are the go-to things that you tell yourself? Are they positive? Are they negative? Are they, lifting you up? Are they depleting you? Are they keeping you stagnant? Bringing awareness to your thoughts, as well as the power of saying, I'm starting now, is huge. Even during this podcast, notice maybe some things that have come up for you. Notice your mindset right now. What are the stories you're telling yourself? Do you not feel worthy? Are you so caught up of not having all the answers that you're not even starting? We don't have to have all the answers to start. We just have to have faith and a little bit of trust in ourselves that it will lead to greatness. Shall we even begin to try? But we get stuck when we just get caught in our head and we don't take action. That is where we become stuck, and that often comes from the stories that we're telling ourselves in our mind. So I truly hope that today's episode allows you to just contemplate, and I encourage you to go through each of those questions and plunk them into your own life. Where do you feel like you're falling off track? Do you feel like you're prioritizing what means most to you? Do you feel like you're living a life that you're going to be proud of? Do you feel like there's one area of your life you can master? Do you have the understanding and belief that no one's going to change your life for you? And do you realize how much your thoughts are controlling your life? My friend, you have the power to change your life at any moment. You have the life of your dreams, but only if you begin to take action towards that. We will stay stagnant as long as we keep up with our excuses in our mind, and our mindset keeps us there. Our mindset is controlled by us, not the other way around, although it tries to. Our mind will control you until you decide to control it. And I hope that this encourages you to bring awareness to that you control your thoughts and you can make that pivot at any time in your life. So I truly hope you bring this with you into the new year when you're setting your new goals. If you're feeling a certain type of way in your life right now, my friend, you hold the power and the ability to change that at any moment. And will it just instantly flick, like from what it is now to your perfect life? No, that's going to take time and grit and commitment, and through pain and through work and through grit to get there. But it only starts when we decide to allow it to start. So I hope with all the love you allow this to settle, allow this to pour into your life, and allow you to make that decision in your life of the areas in which you're ready to stop the wrong trains, start the right ones, and then pivot the ones that might have fallen off the rails. So thank you guys so much as always for tuning into today's episode of Rewire to Inspire. I hope you all enjoy. All the love. I look forward to chatting with you all next week. Bye, you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning into today's episode of Rewire to Inspire. I absolutely love connecting with you all, so make sure you're following me on Instagram. I am at Jessie Brown 13. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to leave a review or share with someone you think would enjoy. I look forward to chatting with you all next episode. And remember, get out of your head and into your heart.